Thanks for joining me. I want to invite you to join me on a walking meditation. It's an exercise in mindfulness, but I'm moving. So as a guided tour or a guided forest therapy practice, mindfulness, or the invitation known as pleasures of presence, is an act of finding a spot where you can focus without movement. So you're sitting or standing, and you go through some breathing exercises, some box breathing, if you will, eyes closed. And with your eyes closed, in a typical mindfulness practice, you'll then move through your senses. Take a moment to smell and listen and feel, taste the air, and the whole time your eyes are closed. So you're really immersed in those moments of sensory moments. But a walking meditation, go through those senses again, but focus on aspects of your surroundings. So as I'm walking in this particular moment, I'm going to focus on the wind as it goes through the canopy, just listening to that sound. And as I move through the terrain and as the wind ebbs and flows, I'm focusing on maybe the different canopies, hearing the difference between that wind moving through coniferous tree tops and finding some of the lower brush versus the deciduous trees, my maples that are out in full leaf. The sound of the wind at this time of year is greatly different relative to what I was experiencing on my winter walks. The winter wind catching treetops, and it's just the sound of bare branches clattering. But I'm definitely hearing a difference. And as I come close to Heart Lake, I can definitely hear the lapping of the waves, that water moving against logs in the shoreline. So listening to the wind. And after a couple moments, my mindful walking meditation, I'm going to focus on maybe aspects of light, all right, looking for those sunny patches. And I'll just move my eyes from bright sunny spot to sunny spot, catching the fractals, contrast between light and shadow as I move through them, catching my eye, stimulating that movement as I search for new sunny spots and notice them and focus on them for a moment as I pass. And maybe go back to focusing on movement rather than listening to the wind. As I walk, I'm going to move my eye back and forth, noticing the underbrush as I walk past, noticing how this breeze off the lake is catching the newly leafed out branches. And as I continue to walk on my walking meditation, maybe focus on the sound of my feet as I transition over leaf litter, contrast of branches. So again, I'm listening to that, listening to my own footsteps, and I can change the pace. All right, I can make an effort to consciously step where there might be more of a wet, more of a dry, stepping over things. And on this walking meditation, I'm going to be using my senses to look at the contrast of water as I round the lake. So just cast my eye in that direction and catch different glimmers, different contrasts, light shimmering as I come to a sunny spot. So the idea is to still be in motion while I'm going through my sensory immersion. And I can take little opportunities to really focus on that, not think about anything else, not be distracted by anything else, and just take a moment and have my walk be guided by the thing that I'm choosing to be mindful of, to meditate on. And if there's opportunity and reason to stop, then stop. And right at this moment, I'm really going to focus on that contrast, those fractals of light dancing, literally dancing, playing with my eyes. And this whole time, that lateral eye movement is good for my brain, stimulating different aspects of my lobes right? Left and right hemispheres of my brain, and picking up practice of watching where I'm going, avoid hazards. But that's the difference with a walking meditation, is that there's so much that I actually need to be doing while my mind is actively focusing on other aspects of it. So again, using different hemispheres of the brain, the doing, the processing, the mental effort it takes. So a little bit of exercise while you're using different parts of your brain. And it's that intentionality of focus for a couple moments. And by moments, I mean a couple minutes, right? I use the word moments intentionally. I'm implying a couple minutes. So choosing the section of path that I walk on, giving me access to wind and sunny spots in the lake, of course. It's only one small part of my trail, but I'll save different parts of my walk for, different reasons, different intentionalities. So if I want to be mindful and get as much sensory input, stimuli, if you will, then yeah, I will focus on different parts of my trail and choosing my environment for different reasons, different practices. Walking a couple kilometers, but really that mindful meditation is, 500 feet, right? 500 meters, if you will, half a kilometer of that. So it's just one way to switch up your daily routine, your walking routine, without the necessity to stop, especially when there's bugs out, right? It's a challenge to guide when guests, right, and guides are not comfortable in bug season. So there's a reason to keep moving, keep the bugs off you, find wind, that helps. Stay in sunlight, open spaces, that'll help as well. So one of the considerations for a walk in nature at this time of year. Find a way to practice or to start walking meditations, all right? Just checking all the boxes, all right? First and foremost, go outside. It's so good for you. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time.